There is an interview that I stumbled across, and I do believe that I stumbled across this particular interview for great purpose. I needed it at this moment in my life. And it is between Anderson Cooper and Stephen Colbert. Um, I am familiar with Cooper, not very familiar with Stephen Colbert. But in this particular interview, um, the basis is finding peace in your grief. And both of these gentlemen have experienced grief. They've experienced a great loss in their life. And one thing, some of the things that were said during this interview actually helped strengthen my spiritual journey because at that moment it was very weak. It was very wavering. It was very pessimistic. Um, there was nothing bright about it. There was nothing great about it. Even though at one point, in my spiritual journey, my faith was unwavering. Oh, I had faith that God could actually physically move a mountain if that mountain needed to be moved for a person. But with life experiences, our perspectives change. Our perspective changes. And mine didn't change for the best. And after many years of going through ups and downs in my spiritual life, I was in a place in my life that was very dark. And I needed hope. I did not need to be spoon fed false hope. I did not need a lot of hooping and hollering and screaming and unnecessary gestures and gimmicks. I needed hope. Something that made sense to me, something that resonated with me, something that was personal, that was unique. And when I ran across when this particular clip from I think it was about a 20-minute interview, I stumbled across this for great reasons. I broke down crying, not only because of the significant loss that these men have suffered, but because of some of the things that were said. I'm a different person than I was meant to be because of trauma and life experiences with no handbook. Now, those are not words verbatim, but that's what I got from the interview. There's another me that exists before I experienced trauma and abuse and neglect. But the thing that made me break down, and it was so simple, but it made everything come into a complete perspective for me. It was that puzzle piece that I had been searching for so long. And I'm like, how is this so simple? How is it that no one has said this to me? Or maybe someone has. And I was so blocked by the imperfections of this world and how powerful I was told that God was, and why God was not waving this magic wand to make everything perfect, and why people were suffering, why innocent children were suffering, why families were homeless, why anyone was suffering from debilitating pain. Why is this happening if God is so powerful and such a healer? I don't get it. These are the things that would repeatedly go through my mind during my spiritual journey when I let go of certain beliefs. But when I heard this, and I believe this is the quote from Stephen Colbert, He said it's a gift to exist or be in existence. And again, these are not his words verbatim, but it's a gift to be in existence. It's a gift to exist. And with existence comes suffering. Oh my gosh, when I tell you it opened up a portal of understanding and gratefulness, it did. And I always try to compare things to make it simple for me. This is the way that my brain works, and I've mentioned it before, and if you followed me on Twitter, you know how I am about nature and how in awe I am of such beautiful things that happen in nature, and how creatures know, and how flowers know, and how trees know how to exist regardless of the suffering, regardless of the season, regardless of the inclement weather. They exist and they flourish when it's time. They bloom when it's time. And I say that to say, when he said, with existence comes suffering, I began to immediately think about these trees that have existed for hundreds of years. And I know they've suffered. Honey, they've suffered because they've lost all their leaves, walking around here just as nude as they want to be, sitting in somebody's backyard just as nude as they want to be. But guess what happened when springtime came and summer came? Life was returned to them. They are existing and suffering at the same time. But remember my favorite Bible verse? Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. There's a time for everything. There is a time for suffering, and then there is a time to not suffer. When I say that simple passage from him, that simple thought from him changed my life for the better from that day forward. And it has been years. Everything that I have learned in church, everything that I have learned in life, everything that I have appreciated and learned from other people can all be put to the side, and I can live off of. It is a gift to exist. It is a gift to be in existence. And with existence, we have to understand there is suffering. Does it have to be that way? Well, we don't know. We didn't create this life. If we had it any other way, would we change things? Possibly. But there are some individuals who do believe that what they have gone through made them the person that they are now, and they are content with the person that they are now. And then you have others who say, I didn't have to go through that suffering in order to become the great person that I am. Will we ever know? No one knows the answer to that. But I will say that individuals who have suffered pain or loss or some type of trauma search for things, while others who have not suffered just go day by day, just like it is, as it's given to them. So maybe in that suffering, it did allow you to bloom and blossom into this person who is more aware, who has a little bit more knowledge than someone else, in their group of peers. It is a gift to exist. And sometimes we think, this is not a gift. I'm suffering every day. I get that. And even in that interview, he pointed that out. It's not every day that I'm grateful for life. That's real to me. Because there are some days that are absolutely terrible, and it seems like that day lasts for more than 24 hours. And it's like, are you kidding me? Can anything else go wrong? Can I suffer any more than what I'm suffering right now? And again, that's a rhetorical question, because of course there are people who will say, yes, you can be suffering, you could be this and you could be that, and that could be taken away, and this could happen. To me, when it comes to suffering, it is what it is. Don't try to guilt someone into feeling bad about how they feel. Don't try to guilt someone into thinking that their situation could be worse, because then it can be worse than that. I mean, are we just going to keep going on these levels of it could be, it could be, it could be? Sometimes it's okay to simply say, I understand that's rough. I cannot imagine going through that. Or I understand it's rough. I've been there. I've done that. And I was able to make it through. There are going to be some rough patches that you feel like you cannot conquer. There are going to be some battles that you feel like putting the sword down. But telling someone, oh, girl, it could be worse. What? Would you tell a rape victim that? It could be worse. I hope that you wouldn't. Would you tell an abused child, well, baby, it's okay, but it could be worse? Sometimes our words have genuine intent, but they cut like a sword. Sometimes it's better to just be silent when you don't know what to say. Because sometimes that worst, or that it could be worse, is the worst that that person is feeling at that moment. And that does not uplift them at all. I can remember there were many times I was suffering and I would hear it could be worse. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about what I am feeling, what I am going through. I am overwhelmed at this moment. So telling me that it could be worse is actually making this situation worse than what it is. Give me my moment and allow me to feel the way that I want to feel without feeling guilted into saying, oh, well, there's someone out there that's homeless, so I shouldn't feel bad about my situation. No, suffering is exactly what it is. It's suffering. And you have the right to feel exactly how you want to feel, because your feelings are valid and your reality is your reality, not anyone else's. So I hope that in saying this, this can actually help someone, help you to understand that, baby, sometimes life is about suffering. We will go through phases of suffering. We cannot explain why. We can search, we can search, we can pray, we can meditate. Everyone can have an answer for you, and every one of those answers can collide with the next answer. So in reality, it's really as simple as it is. Sometimes we suffer. Sometimes we envy those people who are not suffering. And we wonder, why am I going through this? Why was I the chosen one to have to deal with this of all things? And that's not to say that to say that we're wishing that someone else were suffering, but we want to know, what great thing is going to come from this? Is some great thing going to come from? I sure hope something great is going to come from this, because this suffering is unbearable. With existence, there is suffering. And it is okay to not be grateful for every single day. It is okay to say, this day sucks. I'm not happy. And the next day, you may wake up with a brand new sunshine in your life, a brand new ray of sunshine, highlighting what you can be grateful for. With light, with existence comes suffering.